that's when he sees her for the first time. That's when it really hits him. The hat just goes some romance, some action. I mean, stealing a Mountie's hat is a big deal. I read that, I thought, I have to play this part. Yeah, necessary reminder about what's important in life, and it's what's right in front of you, your family, your friends, your community.
Hi, everybody. I would like to welcome to the podcast today, Christopher Russell. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm great. So excited to talk about Michael Fletcher. I guess we should say, is it Constable Michael Fletcher or Mountie Michael Fletcher?
Depends who you talk to. Different people in different areas of the town refer to me as a different thing. You could be hearing Mountie Fletcher, Constable Fletcher, Mountie Michael Fletcher, Constable Michael Fletcher, or the legendary Fearless Fletcher.
Okay. So, as an American and not a Canadian, I've always wondered, I'm like, what is the real? So, I guess it doesn't really matter, right?
It would
Constable
be
or Mountie?
constable. Yeah, he's part of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and he's a constable within that regiment.
Okay. All right. So I'm not going to mess it up if I go either way. We're all
Yeah.
good.
Because in the show it doesn't matter because they're called the Mounties, right?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
see that red uniform riding over the mountainside, you know the Mounties are coming. You don't say the constables are coming because you
The
don't know.
constables.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Well,
yeah.
I'm going to lean towards Mounties more often. We're going to go with that.
It sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about when you found out that, first of all, When Hope Calls was coming back, but also they're going to need a new Mountie. Talk about how excited you were to hear that there was a potential for you to go for that part.
Yeah, so the way it works for us actors is unless it's a direct offer, you'll get a breakdown of the show, the character, and sort of a little blurb about what's going to be happening. So when I saw that breakdown come through, and I had uh, I had not seen or heard of this show for quite a few years, so
Yeah.
I was pretty excited that it was coming back because I knew that it was a hit in season one, and I know that world events made things difficult to get it going again, but to see that they were introducing a new Mountie and the way they described him, he was he was a legendary tracker. He was really good at catching like the baddest of the bad criminals, and he also was could relate really well to the orphans because of how he grew up,
Okay.
which we haven't quite revealed yet, so I won't get into
Okay.
that.
Okay. All right.
But also like, his sense of adventure and right and wrong and justice and the whole thing. When I read that, I thought I have to play this part.
Yeah.
Um, and at the time, I had a really big beard. And bounties are, they don't look like that at all. But I thought, you know what? No, it's okay. They know who I am, and he's out in the wilderness tracking down gun runners, so he probably would grow a beard during that time, so they can see past that.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I sent a tape. It's called is where you do like an audition, and you send it via the internet.
Yeah.
And yeah, here we are.
Well, and I hear that Mounties in that era actually had like typically at least like a big mustache or something. So
Yeah,
we could
some of
count
them did.
we could count the facial hair. That would be
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. But the Michael Fletcher you get to meet in the finalized product does not have a mustache
No.
or
Yeah.
yet. Anyway, who knows?
So did you do any research on Mounties either before you sent in that tape or after you landed the part?
So before I sent the tape, the way the audition sides were set up, the dialogue and stuff that I had, it was pretty straightforward. So I didn't have to do too much research regarding the particulars of Mountie business. But yeah, once I got the part, I definitely did my due diligence. And I mean, there's uh, there's a lot to look at there, especially the uniforms and
Hmm.
how they're properly worn and how one carries himself while wearing it and what each thing actually represents. So I did incorporate that, and a lot of the stuff I looked up though from the early Mounties, they almost look like They almost look like they're from Russia or something. Like in
Yes.
the late 1800s, they had the most bizarre outfits. So I'm happy we're in 1920 and we don't have to do that.
And you're going to be in the red surge for most of the season. Is that correct?
That is correct. I would say probably 99.9% of the time.
Okay.
There
So
might be a
there's a
1%.
0.1% chance that you might not be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Okay. So can you talk then about your first experience on the set?
Yeah. So um, I was working on another project at the same time as the first couple weeks that When Hope Calls was getting going. So I had to come in and out really quick.
Mm.
So I didn't have a chance, like some of the other actors, to get there a bit early, get acclimated, go walk around the set and get used to it. I showed up in uniform. Everyone's already there, camera set up, ready to go. And for myself, I couldn't have asked for a better introduction because when I walked onto that set and I saw all the other actors for the first time in their costumes, I saw the background performers in their costumes. I saw the town of Brookfield for the first time. It's an actual town. You could go there on weekends when we're not filming and imagine that it is just an abandoned pioneer town.
Yeah.
Um, the interiors and exteriors all fully functional,
Wow.
and I just felt like I was transported back in time. And yeah, it was a really great first experience.
Did that help knowing like you're walking into that environment where it's like you're just really immersed in that kind of an experience?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
On my end, like I do a lot of preparation with the script and everything I need to do for myself.
Hmm.
But sometimes on other projects, let's say you have to fight against certain things that just aren't realistic.
Hmm.
And you have to really suspend reality to
Hmm.
get the real point across you're trying to in the scene. But on this, I didn't have to pretend it was 1920. I didn't have to imagine I was somewhere else. It was there I am. And
Yeah.
everybody else was pulling their weight in the same way. I really did feel like I was transported in time.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
what was your first scene that you shot? Because we've seen episode one now. Was it in
Yeah.
episode one?
The first scene that I shot was when I'm walking along the boardwalk there and Ronnie ducks around the corner and then I stop and I acknowledge him without looking. So it shows that I basically
Yeah.
got eyes in the back of my head.
Yeah.
So that was the first scene I shot.
So you're quickly establishing some of that comedy that's happening, that interaction between Ronnie and Michael in that moment. I guess Ben was in that moment too, right?
Yeah, he was. He was already there, and then Ronnie, played by Neill Crone, pushes him around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first scene.
Okay.
And I'd
So,
actually worked with Neil years ago on a movie called Midnight Masquerade.
oh yeah.
And he played the security guard and I played basically the bottom of the ladder lawyer at this law firm. And he and I were good buddies. And then,
Oh,
yeah, so we already had a rapport.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
Same type of interaction, kind of like, was it the comedy at all?
it was comedy, but the characters were totally different. Midnight
Yeah.
Masquerade, my
Yeah.
character was miles away from what Michael Fletcher is. Michael
Got it.
Fletcher, you can see he's more confident and playful with Ronnie's character and kind of
Uh-huh.
can see how he can
Oh
casually
yeah.
push buttons. Yeah.
So you said that he is fearless Fletcher. How else would you describe Michael Fletcher?
Oh, kind, caring, has a real sense of justice. Just wants to make sure everybody has a chance to have a good life and whatever he can do to help out is what he's gonna do.
Okay. But there's things that we're going to find out more about him, you've said, right?
Yeah.
More to come. So our
Definitely.
first Mountie action, we'll call it, in Brookfield happens when Michael hurdles a balcony. railing to rescue a young girl about to get run over in the street. I'm guessing this is part of that fearless where he just reacts and goes. Um, how much additional Mountie action would you say we're going to see in season two?
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, this show, it's a family show, so there's a lot of heartwarming moments, there's a lot of comedic moments, and there is a bit more adventure, I think, this season than maybe we're used to on When Hope.
Okay.
So I would say there's quite a bit more to come, and not just with me, other people.
Others outside of the Mountie world.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the Mountie action your favorite part of playing Michael Fletcher?
I don't know that it's my favorite part, but it's definitely up there.
Okay.
I enjoy it no matter what. I just I love playing this character. I love
Yeah.
being on the show. But there is there is something to be said for when you're riding off on your horse or you're jumping over a balcony or whatever
Yeah.
else I might be doing.
Yeah.
Um, it adds a realness to the scene that otherwise would have to be a bit more um, planned and prepared because you're actually doing it, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually I didn't okay. I didn't jump off the balcony all the way to the ground because that's
Yeah.
20 feet, maybe more.
Yeah.
So, but
Why
I
would
did
we do
jump
that?
over it. I jumped over it onto a scaffolding that was about 6 feet down that had crash pads on it. So I'm actually jumping off it, right? So it's not like I'm pretending to jump off it. So it's
Hmm.
realness to it that otherwise wouldn't be there. So yeah, doing the action scenes and working with the animals definitely adds a more organic performance, I think.
Okay. More stunts to come, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Uh, do you, because I know there's a stunt person for some of the stuff.
some of it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it I can do myself, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Why
jump
would you do that?
20 feet off the.
You'd like to be back for season three, right?
I would, yeah.
So more stunts to come as far anything more difficult than what we've already seen so far?
Um, they're, I don't know about difficult. They're all difficult in their own way. Like what we've seen so far, I'm just jumping. So
Yeah.
it's straightforward. Could have hurt, but it didn't. The things coming up, they're more intricate,
Okay. Okay.
more pieces to. I'm trying to be careful here.
Jump. No, don't want to give it away. Jump, freeze. All right. Move the camera. All right. Go again.
It's like learning a dance,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, there's different steps required.
All right.
So more
Okay.
complicated. The things coming up are more complicated.
All right. So let's talk a little bit more about Michael and Ronnie because in episode one, there's a really fun moment at the end where Ronnie visits the Mountie office and has to confess to stealing a hat. And so we're trying to navigate the intentions that Ronnie has and how Michael is playing off of it. So, can you kind of set the stage for us? Like, where is Michael in his thinking as far as like how he's reacting to Ronnie and what is Ronnie up to?
Yeah, so Michael can sense that Ronnie's hiding something.
Okay.
So Michael, in his own way, is getting it out of him without even interrogating him. It's Michael's tactic is to like the double speak, right? He's
Yeah.
saying something, but he means something else, and he knows
Okay.
that Ronnie's catching on to it, and then he gets a confession out of him. But it turns out that what Ronnie was hiding is none. I mean, stealing a Mountie's hat is a big deal, but at this stage and the way Ronnie explains it, and I can see he means well.
Yeah.
Use it to my advantage to now have eyes and ears about the town when I can't be there.
Hmm. Hmm. So Michael's figured out he can kind of use this what Ronnie's trying to do to actually help him at his job.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. He's already figured him out.
Exactly, because he can tell that Ronnie wants to be, he's very proud of himself. He's got a big ego, he's boastful, and Michael uses that to his advantage, knowing that Ronnie would be more than happy to be the town deputy.
Got it.
Yeah.
So Michael's pretty calm and cool, especially in his job. And even when he realizes that he needs to drop the napkin in the, what would it be? The hotel
The hotel
dining.
restaurant.
All
Yeah.
right.
Hotel
Yeah. The
dining.
hotel restaurant, still pretty calm, cool, and collected to protect Nora, who's played by Cindy Busby, from having some sort of an accident. But we've heard that that might be the last time that Michael really has it together when it comes to being around Nora. Is that
Well,
true?
yeah, true, because she's behind him and he hasn't seen her yet, but he knows someone's coming.
Okay.
So he puts the napkin down. It doesn't matter who it is, he would have done it.
Yeah.
But then when they make eye contact and she walks past and looks back at him at the door and he looks up and sees, that's when he sees her for the first time. That's when it really hits him. So we're going to see from here on out that perhaps Michael Fletcher's not so cool and collected when Nora's around.
Okay. So, how would you describe, other than being a little bit nervous around Nora, how would you describe how are Michael and Nora alike?
Well, when they're separate, they're like in the sense that they are very independent.
Okay.
They have a very clear sight of what it is they want in life and what's important to them. And they're also kind and caring and looking out for those around them. And then they both have a keen sense of justice. But the difference is that Nora is a lawyer,
Okay.
whereas Mountie Michael Fletcher is essentially an officer of the law.
Okay.
So I arrest bad guys, and Nora defends them because
All
everyone
right.
deserves a fair trial. So,
Uh-huh. So I'm sensing that there may be some times where they're at odds with each other a bit.
well, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. More to come, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned some of the whole getting ready as a Mountie and all of that. We've heard before that it is quite the process in
Mhm.
getting all suited up for being a Mountie. So, what are some of the challenges that you had to go through in, especially since 99.9% of the time you're wearing the Mountie uniform?
Yeah, well, the first time when I did my fitting, we couldn't find one that fit properly, so they had to make quite a few adjustments. But it's very specific to my body shape,
Mm,
so I need someone to help me put it on
yeah,
because I can't quite move properly until it's actually fully on, and then I'm fine.
yeah.
Um, And then the way the pants are traditionally designed is they're ballooning at the thighs and then they're really, really tight down at the bottom. But back then when they made them, there was no stretch or anything. So it was very specific to whoever was wearing them. So when I'm trying on these Mountie pants, I can't I can't get them up because they're so tight at the bottom. I can't even get them past like my calf. So they had to cut the side and put spandex on the pants so they would fit properly. So the main problem really at the end of the day, once all that was sorted out, would be the boots.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's a lot of eyelets for the laces. They go right up to your knee almost. And again, like it's tight around the ankle and then gets wide around the top. And anyway, yeah, the boots are quite a ordeal.
Made some adjustments as the season went on, figured out how to make it all work.
Well, yeah, they were stretching them out, and then they got me another pair and stretched those out, and we figured it out.
So, if there's a season three, are you going to campaign to figure out how to make those Mountie pants a little bit different where you can actually like stay on the horse?
I could stay on the horse. It's getting on the horse.
Getting on or off?
Yeah, well, I can get off.
Okay.
Getting on. It's getting on because I can't get my leg high enough to get
Okay.
her up because they don't have any give, right? But
Uh-huh.
I'm fine. I can just swing over, but yeah. Of
Okay.
course I'm
So
gonna.
other than getting on the horse, right? Were there any other challenges being the Mountie or being Michael Fletcher that might have been harder than what we actually see on this side of it? I know it's pretty cold up there for one thing.
Yeah, but I had the benefit like that's like it's made of wool, so it's
Yeah.
pretty warm. And then you can wear thermals underneath it and you're none the wiser.
Uh-huh.
So I was lucky. I was pretty warm for the most part. Um it's really just getting on the horse. That would be the biggest issue. And for
Do
those
you
that don't know, because of my Mountie pants, when we're shooting a very emotional scene and I have to get on the horse and ride away, we have to say the director has to call pause, and then they bring out a step stool that I will climb up on to get onto the horse, and then they will remove the step stool, and then the director will say, and action, and we will pick up where we left off. And all the while, Cindy Busby, who plays Nora, is sitting there waiting,
She frozen.
trying to stay in the scene, stay in character, and take me seriously.
So is that the same for the wagon too, getting up into the wagon?
No, that's no problem. So the way you get
Okay.
on the wagon is you hold on to the side of it and then you climb up the
Okay.
wheel. Yeah.
All right.
Wagon was actually fun. Like anyway, yeah.
Okay. But we've got more of those scenes to come too, right?
Plenty.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so how does Christopher Russell relate to Michael Fletcher? Minus the red surge, minus 100 years.
Well, as a person in the world, as they say, um, everyone, including myself, is looking for a sense of community and family
Hmm.
and putting down roots and being there for each other. And that's exactly what Michael Fletcher is doing. Um, he's looking for community, for family, and he's realizing a little later than I did in life that maybe it's time to put down roots
Got
because
it.
he's been traveling so much for his adult life and he's never really belonged anywhere.
Hmm.
Now, as the season progresses, he'll start to see that perhaps he belongs in Brookfield.
So we really didn't talk about this, but we know Michael is there because from episode one because of injuries and switching, right? And so maybe that is an opportunity, a blessing in disguise where he realizes maybe it's time to plant himself in one spot.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
But we'll see. Who knows? Things can happen that'll make him have to leave.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
know?
Who knows? All right. So, having filmed those 6 episodes, if you could travel back in time to Brookfield for real, what modern item would you sneak back with you?
I think I think a refrigerator. Nobody likes food poisoning.
That's true.
If I could
19,
only pick one, that seems like the safest bet. I could figure out how to have a shower in the creek.
okay. With electricity. So, we need to make sure there's electricity, right?
Yeah, or it could run off of some type of coal combustion.
Or water mill power.
There you go. Environmentally friendly.
We'll figure it out. Snacks in the refrigerator?
Absolutely.
What's the snack you're going to have in the refrigerator?
Steak.
Oh, we're going all in. I don't typically put that in the snack category, but I'm all for a good steak.
Yeah,
You've got a refrigerator big enough for
exactly. In the Mountie office full of
there,
steak.
there you go. Everybody's going to want to hang out in the Mountie office. So, and maybe you can or can't share this, but looking back over filming, was there a funny moment on set this season that you could tell us about?
Well, I've already told you about what it's like for me to get on a horse.
True.
So that was pretty funny. The only other thing I can think of would be so Brookfield, the way it's designed, there's two sides of it, and then there's like a main street down the middle, and that's like a wind tunnel. So when I was doing that first scene that I shot, that I told you about, where
Yeah.
Ronnie and Ben hide behind the corner, I have my hat on. But my very first take on my very first day, I'm walking along, being all cool and calm and collected, like Mountie Michael Fletcher, and the hat just goes flies off my head. They had to go and try to catch it because I couldn't keep up with it. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
be this really cool constable, and nope, there goes your head.
and take two, right? We're going to try that one again.
Yeah,
Anything that surprised you about the season filming being there? Anything maybe that you weren't prepared for?
I don't know that I was prepared for how how important it was gonna become for me. I wasn't I was surprised at because I love working. I love being in this industry. It's great, but it's a very transient career, right? You
Yeah.
do this one job, it's done, moving on. You got to make friends quickly, but then moving on to, what's next, and you have to just kind of be okay with that and
Hmm.
develop sort of state of being that is able to leave it when you go, right? But then with this one, it just felt so much like a family.
Yeah.
The whole cast and the whole crew, and I got to bring my family there as well.
Hmm.
My kids are in the first episode as background. And it was just something really, really special and really peaceful about it. And
Mm.
it just felt like we were making something that was just, I don't know, really, really important for 2025 in the sense
Yeah.
of what's happening in the world and the way
Hmm.
people are feeling. And it's just it's such a heartwarming and yeah, necessary reminder about what's important in life. And it's what's right in front of you, your family, your friends, your community. And I was surprised at how much that actually affected me
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
real life.
That's pretty cool to hear that because I know, like, for us on this side of it, there's so many of us that are looking for that type of programming that kind of gets you away from some of the craziness and madness. Um, but it's still entertaining. But it's neat to hear that for you guys that it resonated with you even as an actor, as a part of that project.
Yeah, I'm probably not the only one to say that either, whether it be cast or crew. I feel like we pretty much all felt the same way.
Yeah. Different in ways I would say then than doing like a movie of the week where,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. Um,
And
Go ahead.
I've been on other series before for an entire season, and while I enjoyed making them, it, it- this there's just something different about this one. There's something special about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that feeling that I'm trying to explain about the camaraderie between everyone and the real, like everyone's looking out for each other and just trying their best to make sure that this is the best possible thing that we can create,
Mm-hmm. Oh
but
yeah.
also without subsidizing anyone's quality of life. I don't know. It just incorporates all the best parts of what a job should be.
It's got to be pretty cool to actually get to do a job where you're going to work with people that are all there, wanting to be there, love what they're doing, get along well. And that for us, I can see it. It is translating, that camaraderie even on this side of it. So that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and even with other actors who maybe you have one scene with for the whole series,
Hmm.
it was there, right? It
Yeah,
was
that's pretty awesome. So Sunday night, we are going to get to see episode 2. What could you give us 2 words to describe episode 2?
emotional,
Okay.
hilarious.
More comedy, right?
Yeah, you get both. This, I episode 2, um, I think is gonna. If anyone's seen season 1, then I think you're gonna get a bit teary-eyed in this episode. And
Oh,
even if you haven't, it might still happen for you. It's a good one. But then it's also has a lot of funny parts.
it's nice to have a good mix of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything that you can get us excited about for what's to come beyond episode 2?
Well, it's no secret. Trevor Donovan's in the series. So you can get excited about Trevor Donovan showing up at some point dressed as a Mountie. Um, he's great. Um,
I've heard that you really liked working with Trevor Donovan.
I love working with Trevor Donovan. I hope to continue to work with Trevor Donovan. But only as a Mountie, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it could translate elsewhere. But
Maybe, okay. Maybe is he going to be nice as that nice equally no matter if he's in the red surge or not?
yeah,
Okay.
he yeah, he's great. He's so funny. And I really like the way they wrote our characters and the interactions we have with each other on the show. So I think people are going to enjoy that. You can look forward to some romance, some action, and again, some more heartwarming storylines and a lot of family-oriented, feel-good stuff.
Okay. That's exciting. We're looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for chatting. It's been really fun to watch episode 1. I've seen episode 2, so I can confirm that it is emotional and funny at the same time. So we're excited to see that. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, really looking forward to watching the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll get to talk again soon. So thanks so much.
No problem. Take care.